Well, good morning, my channel viewers. I'm Honest Jim again. I haven't done a video for a while, but I've got some interesting things to say today about the pandemic in China and the influx of Americans coming into Thailand because of not only the election, but for what's been going on since the election. So. The first thing I want to talk about is I'm going to do follow-up today, follow-up on some of my previously submitted videos. They need following up and updating. So today is March 6th, about 10:30 in the morning, and it was 102 yesterday, and it's going to be 101 today. So I was going to try to go out and do a walking and talking thing, but within 10 minutes with the humidity over here, I would be, my shirt would be steamed and sweat, and I'd be very uncomfortable. So I turned on the AC on high, and I'm sitting here in my chair, and once again, you get to look at the yellow wall behind me. So also, I want to remind you, my comments say that I forget to remind folks to please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me with my algorithms, and it helps me reach out to you with more important information, mainly from Thailand. But as my initial video said, I'm going to be covering lots of things that I find interesting. So here we go. China. About 2 weeks ago, I did a video on some strange things that seem to be happening in China that piqued my interest, and I put it in a video. So revisiting that, what happened was Golden Week, which is the big holiday in China. Lots of Chinese people come to Thailand, especially in Golden Week. I think it's like their New Year's. All the airline flights to Thailand were canceled by China. I don't know who did it. I tried to find out the name of the person, but it must have come from higher up. A lot of people had bought their tickets already. It was just done like I don't think it was even a week before. People were scheduled to come down here to Thailand and enjoy the holiday. So I'm sure there was a big disappointment because there's a lot of plane rides were canceled. Kind of strange. Why oh why was there this last minute canceling of flights into Thailand on a major holiday? Then after that, I covered the richest family in China had emptied out their furniture in their mansion or whatever place they lived in, and the report was that they had loaded their airplane with all their furniture. It must have been a really hell of a big airplane. The richest family in Thailand had left China and had flown to Canada, flown to Western Canada, I think Vancouver, and had left with the whole family. Kind of sudden. All this is kind of sudden. So I was looking at it, and then I saw some filtered reports coming down that people were getting sick in China, and of course it doesn't come out much. But I just looked today at Decode China, which has an up-to-date, it's on YouTube, all these ones are on YouTube. Decode China, The China Show, China Uncensored. Now, China Uncensored has been around for 20 years, and China's been messing with Chris's channel and causing him a lot of grief and canceling out his reports and stuff. So this must be a boiling point with China and getting out these reports about the sickness in China. If you recall the pandemic that happened a few years ago with coronavirus, nobody knew about it until it was too late. A number of Chinese tourists went to Italy who were sick, and Italy really got hammered with the disease. It was terrible, way worse than the other European countries. And I was in Seattle, or living in Olympia, below Seattle, when the pandemic started in Washington. And the story was that this Chinese man was sick on the airplane coming from China to Seattle. And not only was he sick, he was so sick that he had to go to the hospital when he landed, and 3 days later he died. In the meantime, he spread the disease around the hospital staff and, and whoever else he came in contact with. And that's how the pandemic started on the West Coast. And there was another report that someone from China landed in New York City. And that's how it got started in New York City. And of course, the West and the East, the disease just spread across America. And we all know the story on that. But at any rate, these channels have all reported that one report was that 10,000 people have died in northern China. The CCP has removed, they have burial restrictions. You can't just go bury somebody in your backyard. They removed the burial restrictions. Okay. Now, I don't know for a fact this is all true or not, but I get it on these different pre-mentioned sites, and I trust all of them. So it sounds pretty bad. And of course, we're not going to be told about it. The disease starts out as a cold. Oh, it's a HN51 bird flu is what it's been diagnosed as. And at the start, the doctors didn't know what it was, and people, it looks like they had a cold. Then you get a rash around your ears and down your neck, and then the rash just grows all over your body. You also get kind of a reddish hue on your tongue, and you get sick and then sicker. And people are dying with what's diagnosed as pneumonia. So keep that in mind. Don't just think you're getting a cold. Now, this is for my friends in Thailand. Thailand is very close to China. China and Thailand have a lot of business interests, a lot of tourist interests, a lot of back and forth, give and go with people going back and forth. So I'm wearing a mask. I'm going to go to Macro today, and I'm going to put on my mask for what it's worth. So that's the latest. Decode China, China Uncensored, The China Show. 3 long-time, reliable channels that are covering the flu. And they have people in China that are sending them videos and stuff, so they get, they get something. They're not just completely blacked out. So that's that. Now let's move to another subject matter. A few weeks ago, well, actually it was a few months ago after the election, Donald Trump won the presidency, and a lot of people were unhappy. And I opined that there'll be a lot of people coming to Thailand, mostly Democrats. And, people are going to leave, blah, blah, blah. They always say that. But I think this is going to cause a rapid group of Americans coming to Thailand, probably more than are expected. Now, because of the current status with the tariffs and everything just went into effect, I'm going to include the Republicans too. And as I cautioned in my previous video, if you go to my profile, these videos, the Democrats are coming and the pandemic, those are the titles. You can go back and look at the videos and catch up to where I'm at. I also cautioned that, Thailand loves money. They love to have tourists come. They love to have the Americans come. And, we're well received. But Phuket has been completely overrun by the Russians. And there's a couple of podcasters. Steve Ross is one who's popular and been around. And Steve was talking about, he lives down the coast a ways, and how everybody's coming down there now to get out of Phuket, all the old timers. But that's another story. Steve Ross on YouTube. So Phuket's been completely overrun. You've got Russian taxis, Russian restaurants, Russian real estate agents, Russian girls. It's been Russianized, yeah, to the point of overwhelm. And as the Americans start coming and leaving and coming, it's going to be I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe they'll go up to Chiang Mai, although they burn the rice 3 months out of the year and you can hardly breathe up there. I've got a video on that too, and a video on their 100-year flood if you want to see that. So anyway, I think there's going to be a flux of Democrats, Republicans, and independents that are going to be getting out of Dodge. They're going to go to Canada, France, not just all going to come to Thailand, but I think some will. And that'll be another problem. And as I mentioned in my previous video, Thailand loves money, they love the business, they love the tourists. I think there was 40 million tourists in here before the pandemic. 40 million. This country's not that big. Some even came to Buriram. So they found their way to Buriram because everything else is so crowded, I suppose. But at any rate, I predicted that Thailand eventually, and I don't know when it's going to be, and I don't know if it's ever going to be, it's just my opinion, that Thailand is going to have had enough of all this influx of people, and the Thai people have had enough. And they're going to make some kind of regulation to make it harder to get in or harder to stay. And I don't know what shape or form that will take, but I just caution you. And backtracking a little bit on the bird flu. If you're a tourist from outside Thailand and you want to come to Thailand in the next, I don't know, next week or the next 3 months, be informed. Go to those sites. Be informed as to what's going on up there in China, because we're really close to China, and the bird flu could starting down here in a matter of days. Okay. So that's my follow-ups. That's my opinion, and I just want to finish with a little humor comment. When I first came here, I don't know. The last time I came here, I think it was about 5 years ago, because I went back and forth since 1996. But when I first came here, I was looking at some. I wasn't doing any channels. I was looking to see what people were doing and what they were saying about Thailand, because you get good information off the street information. So there was this guy. He was on his way to the airport. He was leaving. Oh, Thailand! I've been here. I've done this, and I've had this, and he had quite a few subscribers and stuff. He was, he was an old timer and a pro. And then the next video was him in the airplane seat, and he's leaving. And I think he was going to Texas. And he's getting ready to take off. And he's just all crabby, and he's ranting about how bad Thailand is. And then he says, the only good thing about Thailand is the butt blasters. Now, if you don't know what a butt blaster is, Google it. Okay, it pretty much names itself. And it's pretty common in Thailand. And I just started laughing. That's all he had to say that was good about Thailand. I figured maybe he had a girlfriend that, didn't treat him very well. He seemed to there's a lot more in Thailand than a butt blaster, let me tell you for sure. But anyway, this is Honest Jim. I'm going to keep posted on this bird flu thing, and just be informed. Please be informed. Thank you.